Our biggest battles were in Bill Walsh's college football on the Sega Genesis. Jeff was always the Hawaii Rainbows. I have no idea why. I was Notre Dame like a normal person. We also played basketball and baseball together in high school. And Jeff played golf for 4 years. He was a great golfer. He was the Anne Arundel County Golfer of the Year, senior year. And I wasn't very good, but I tried out and made the team senior year just so I could play for free a couple times a week and hang out with my buddy. And that was a good year. So I spent a lot of time at the Rice house growing up. Probably so much time I could have paid Mr. Rice room and board. It's not happening. No back pay. No back pay. But so I used to come in through the side entrance in the garage, hit the doorbell, and just open up the door and bust in there. So as soon as I came in, the doorbell was going off. Try to announce my presence. They knew that's how it would be there. Mrs. Rice makes the best pumpkin bread I've ever had in my life. I used to come get it every Thanksgiving, and I was going to use this chance to ask Mrs. Rice to formally make me a loaf this Thanksgiving. I know. Last night, Mr. Rice claims that last year a loaf was made, he left the garage door open for me, and I never came. Jeff never told me this. It's his fault. This will not happen again this year. Growing up, Mr. Rice would always offer some comedic relief to everybody. Sometimes intentionally, a lot of times unintentionally. I love unintentional Mr. Rice humor. When we got our driver's license, when we were about to leave the Rice house, the last thing we ever heard was Mr. Rice yelling at us, "Watch out for the deer." And I would think to myself, watch out for the deer? What, is there crazed, bloodthirsty deer in Davidsonville? They're going to attack us if we leave the house? I know you're thinking about our safety, Mr. Rice, but I was an obnoxious teenager and it cracked me up. But Mr. Rice did have a very important job at the Rice household, and that was taking care of the hot tub. Jeff would give us updates on the water temperature, and he would let us know when it was in pristine condition. When we were younger, we'd go in the hot tub, and when there were snowstorms, get out and try to lay in the snow and see who could take it the longest before we got back in. When we got a little bit older, our buddy Andrew Sly introduced cigars to the group, so then we started smoking stogies in there. And we got a little bit older, somehow beers and girls ended up in the hot tub. I don't know anything about that. If you have any questions, I would ask Mike Mraz or maybe Joey Treese after dinner. So those of you who know Jeff know he's a great guy. If you go up to him, he normally has a smile on his face, a sparkle in his eyes, probably because he's about to do or say something funny. He can talk loud sometimes, but that's just a conversational Rice tone. Growing up in that house, if you want to get a word in, you got to speak up. Over the years, Jeff and I have been able to talk about anything together, whether it's sports, politics, relationships, the weather, whatever. But we could also seamlessly transition and talk about serious things in life that you can only tell a select few people. Whenever I needed logical, serious advice, Jeff would definitely be someone I went to. Or if I needed someone to tell me I was acting like an idiot, Jeff would say to me, "What are you doing? You're acting like an idiot." And that has happened a few times in my life, believe it or not. A few weeks ago, I was watching TV, and Top Gun came on. I noticed Tombstone was on after it, and I thought of Jeff immediately because those are some of our favorite movies growing up. We watched Top Gun so much in college, we could literally recite every single line of the movie. In fact, the University of Maryland band at basketball games used to play the Top Gun theme song, but not as frequently as Jeff liked. So when there was a TV timeout and the band was trying to play something that was quiet, Jeff would stand up and go, "Top Gun theme song!" So if the band didn't play it, next TV timeout, "Top Gun theme song!" Until they finally played it. And when they fired up that iconic anthem, Jeff would look at me, and just like Tom Cruise's Maverick, just flash the thumbs up. So I thought of Jeff when I saw Top Gun was on, and I sent him a text message, and I was like, of course I'm going to watch this. Before I could even put my phone down, my phone goes off, text message from Jeff, all caps. "I was just about to put that on Facebook!" Exclamation. "Tombstone's on next!" Exclamation. And I just cracked up because I could just imagine Jeff getting excited about his favorite movie being on. And I thought to myself, as long as I've known Jeff, every time we hang out, there's something each and every day that he gets excited about, that he gets happy about. Sly calls this Rice getting fired up. Rice gets fired up. And it's great because it can be about anything. A movie, a sporting event, a weather event. I can only imagine him during Hurricane Sandy last week. I bet he watched hours of the Weather Channel. So, when we were growing up, we used to go to the Harbor Hills Community Pool all the time. A lot of our friends, Marshall, Sly, Joey, and Tony Treese, lived in Harbor Hills. So we went to this pool all the time. We went there so much we actually called it the office. Because we went there more often than we had jobs. My parents really loved that I called the pool the office, by the way, as you can imagine. So all of us would be hanging out, sitting by the pool, and all of a sudden we'd notice, Jeff had kind of slipped away. And then we'd hear a clap. Clap. We'd look up on the diving board, what's Jeff doing? Clap. When you start a Jeff Rice slow clap, you have to join in. So we start clapping, Jeff starts working the crowd, getting us fired up. Next thing you know, he steps back on the diving board, puts his finger up to test the wind. Steps back, runs as fast as he can, jumps as high as he can, completely stretches out like Superman, completely parallel, smack! Perfect 10 belly flop. Best thing you have ever seen in your life. It was so loud, it sounded like a gunshot. It sounded like a beaver smacking his tail against the water. He would come through a couple seconds later screaming, he was so proud of himself, but also screaming from pain because his face and his chest and his stomach would literally be bright red. But he would come out of the pool, we're probably crying, laughing so hard. He'd run by high-fiving us and say, "Hey, Smitty, how'd you like that full extension?" If I wanted to mess with him, I would say, that was about a 5 or a 6. Normally you're a 9 or a 10, because he would run and do another one. I could basically tell Jeff stories all night long, but I would run out of time, and most of them would be wildly inappropriate. But basically, what it comes down to is being friends with Jeff is fun. A lot of times in life, I get caught up on what I consider to be big picture problems that I really have no control over, but they stress me out and worry me anyway. I realize that when I hang out with Jeff, there's always going to be something you get happy about, that you get excited about, and fired up about, and you get fired up too. He just has that much of an influence on you. His friendship really means a lot to me. I cherish it. We've had a lot of good times throughout the years, and even though you're married now, by definition that means you can't have fun anymore, I'm still going to do my best to make sure the good times keep going. Now, Nikki. When I first met you, I knew you were a great fit for Jeff. Jeff and the Deville boys and Rhode Island guys, we can be a lot to handle. We can be loud, obnoxious, ask any of the girlfriends or wives back there. But Nikki has a great sense of humor. She can put up with us and laugh at us. She's got a sharp tongue and a quick wit. But I think having Wade as a brother helped her with that in that department a little bit. I love you, Wade. But what I like most about Nikki, other than the fact that she's hot, and Nikki, you look beautiful this evening as always, but what I like most about Nikki is what a great couple Jeff and Nikki make. I literally watch them laugh together, tease each other, challenge each other, watch the O'Reilly Factor and yell at the TV together, but generally just be partners in life. I have honestly never seen my friend happier or more complete in life than he is today with you, and that makes me happy. Before I, round of applause. So, I'd like to close out with a serious story, because I'm a serious guy. Jeff Rice is a die-hard Washington Redskins fan. Loves them. When they win, he's ecstatic. When they lose, you don't try to talk to him. It's going to be bad. One of the few things he approaches with equal passion of loving the Washington Redskins would be hating the Baltimore Ravens. He despises them. I'm in Baltimore. Please don't throw anything at me. This is Jeff, not me. He even hates the color purple because of the Baltimore Ravens. And Nikki, it just so happens to be, is a huge Ravens fan. An obnoxious Ravens fan who I've witnessed get into verbal altercations with Pittsburgh Steelers fans at Maryland tailgates. See, these two really are meant for each other. So when Jeff told me that he bought Nikki a Joe Flacco Baltimore Ravens jersey, I thought, oh my God, this is serious. He really loves her. I think they're going to get married. And here I am today. And I could not be happier. I love you guys. Congratulations. If we could raise our glasses in a toast.
Cheers.
To Jeff and Nikki, to a life of love and happiness. I love you guys. Congratulations.